Now, moving from Philippine migrants to Afghan refugees, the US, via Kamala Harris, the United States Vice President, has asked the Philippines to temporarily house 50,000 Afghans. How is this request being received in the Philippines?
Well, there were some who raised concerns about security because, of course, many of this, if not all of them, if I'm not mistaken, all of them used to work with the U.S. Embassy in Kabul or work with the U.S. administration back then. And so resettling them even temporarily in the Philippines, where we have, of course, a restive tradition in the South, and of course some of them have links with militants or fundamentalists, and so they may look at this Afghan refugees that are temporarily being processed in the Philippines might become a target of these kinds of potential attacks. And I think the Philippines also raised concern about the way this whole deal was handled. I think some legislators expressed that they were informed very late on the stage negotiations between both sides, and beyond the security risks, the way the vetting process, if the Philippines will have an input in terms of determining which among these 50,000 the Philippines would admit. And I think these are, make sure that the Philippine sovereignty will also be applied, and the Philippines will have supervisory oversight, throughout all the stage while they are in the Philippines and before they get admitted.
President Lai, would you like to comment on, maybe some of if there's any pressure that might be felt by Manila because of this request, this very high-level request?
The United States is trying to house those Afghan people who once worked for the U.S. and right now could face prosecution by the Taliban government should they return to Afghan. And they wanted to find some home for them to stay, and especially in Asia. And Philippines right now become the question that they like to place a request.
So why do they want Asia? Why do the U.S. want a home in Asia, even if temporary?
In Asia, especially in Southeast Asia, in Philippines, probably that has a closer relationship with the United States, and also close to Indonesia, for example, and Malaysia. Both countries, they are predominantly the Islamic countries.
Lucio, so what do we know about other U.S. allies in Asia being asked the same thing?
Yeah, so aside from the security risk, the vetting process, of course, the Philippines would also inquire into whether the U.S. also approached other U.S. allies in the region, and whether the response was also affirmative, and whether there is any backlash, or whether there is any negotiation in terms of the numbers that would be admitted, and the duration of the time that they would stay, knowing that bureaucratic processes in the U.S. Means that it may take longer than what was initially estimated. And so I think these are concerns, administrative concerns from the Philippine side. But of course, as these people stay longer in the Philippines, the risks, the arguments against them, the concerns and issues raised about hosting them, even temporarily, they would grow. So I think it would also be good to look at the experience, how other countries help the U.S. address this issue.